Hello, everybody. Our parsha contains a very famous incident where God dialogues with Moshe Rabbeinu at the thorn bush at the sneh. I'd like to share an approach of my Rebbe Rav Soloveitchik Zatzal, and in so doing would like to begin by raising a number of questions. The first is, why does HaKadosh Baruch Hu choose the setting of the sneh in order to engage in this dialogue? Secondly, equally perplexing, or even more so, is why is the scene cast with a burning bush that is not consumed? V'hasaneh einenu ukal. And thirdly, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu is asked by Moshe, should the people inquire, Mi Mamu, who is this God that has communicated? What is his name? What are his attributes? What am I to say to them? And God answers, tell them, Eheyeh Asher Eheyeh. Why does God choose this particular appellation to tell Moshe Rabbeinu? And also, we are told that from the Labat Eish, from the tongue of fire, if you will, that was burning within the bush, a Malach Hashem appears to God. Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, which is Midat HaRachamim, as opposed to Malach HaElokim, Elokim meaning not only Midat Hadin, but we know that when the name Elokim is used, this is a reference to HaKadosh Baruch Hu as the Baal HaKochot, the one of power, ability, activity, Bereshit bara Elokim, aside from the well-known Medrash that God first wanted to create the world through Midat Hadin and only thereafter Midat HaRachamim. The force of creation is exemplified with the appellation of Elokim. Why here does the Malach Hashem appear as opposed to Malach Elokim? After all, the purpose of this meeting between Hashem and Moshe is to set things up for God's intervention in redeeming Am Yisrael from the slavery of Mitzrayim. In order to give an answer to these questions, we need to be reminded that as part of the dialogue between Hashem and Moshe, Moshe Rabbeinu is self-deprecating, in which he protests to God in this lengthy dialogue that, at least according to a version of the Medrash, lasted for 7 days, where God is trying to cajole Moshe to go to Paro and demand Jewish freedom, and Moshe demurs. And one of the things that Moshe says to Hashem is, who am I to go to Paro? V'chi otzi et bnei Yisrael me'eretz Mitzrayim, and that I will take them out of Egypt. This is not merely self-deprecating, but Chazal tell us this is Moshe Rabbeinu wondering what is the merit of the Jewish people that they would ever deserve to be freed from enslavement in Mitzrayim. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu's message to Moshe is, they have redeeming qualities. Ta'avdun et ha'elokim ala harazeh. They are destined to accept the yoke of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and become his loyal servants on this very mountain in the future, subsequent to the Exodus. So don't give up on them, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Moshe. Yes, they have their deficiencies, but look at the positive sign. Moshe Rabbeinu, in his early years, was perhaps prone to see the negative, just as we saw with the people who were striving with one another, where Moshe Rabbeinu acted in a rather harsh fashion as he spoke to them. And now we can go back to the questions that we began with. The sneh is a thorn bush. It has no redeeming quality of fruit that is of use and value. Why is it even there? But it is there. It's part of the nature of our world that God created, even if at first glance you don't see the positive value. And v'hasaneh einenu ukal. There is a fire that is burning that threatens to reduce the entirety of the bush into nothing but a heap of ashes. No redeeming quality to such a bush, if even there was in the first instance value in a thorn bush. But v'hasneh einenu ukal, yes, it's being charred by fire. Things are detrimental. However, it is not totally consumed. It has purpose in continued existence and will not be obliterated. And so too, Am Yisrael. And thus God reveals himself. Eheyeh asher eheyeh. Chazal darshan on this name of Hashem. I will be with them in this shi'abud, in this galut, and I will be with them in the future galut. Yes, the Jewish people are going to slip and falter in the future as well, but I am not going to abandon them. I am not going to give up on them. I will not say they're not worth saving. I will never cease to invest in them. When they go into Galut, I go into Galut with them as well. Don't give up on them, Moshe Rabbeinu. And thus, it is the Malach Hashem, not the Malach Elokim of Koach. It's the God of compassion, of sympathy, of mercy. It's the angel of that God, of Hashem, that aspect of Hashem, that is sent to appear to Moshe Rabbeinu. And Moshe was destined to learn how to deal with the Jewish people, even in their less positive moments. This is true of us as a nation, and I believe it is true of us as individuals as well. Sometimes you can see someone who appears to be slipping and going off the derech, and it's very easy to write them off. It's very easy to see the negative. It is very easy to say, why do they deserve X, Y, or Z? And HaKadosh Baruch Hu teaches Moshe Rabbeinu and teaches us as well. See the redeeming qualities in every single person and build off of that. Shabbat Shalom.